memory.
Now, I had presented Governor Whitman's appearance here in different ways. For example, here's one. This is New York Times by a person by the name of Ivor Peterson. Whitman rebukes Bob Grant on the air. Avoid troubling racial comments, New Jersey governor asks. And there's a photo of the governor and I shaking hands, and says the radio talk show host Bob Grant shook hands yesterday with Todd Whitman, the New Jersey governor, who chided him about racial comments made by him or attributed to him on his program. And then they have an excerpt of a conversation we had, but I won't read that to you. We go over to David Wall's column. He's an excellent, superior writer, a real pro from the Star-Ledger. Also, another photo. Whitman returns the Grant show to abhor racism and talk up host. Grant said Hatayan failed to topple Lautenberg because the Republican nominee bowed to pressure and canceled a planned appearance on the program a week before the election. Then there's the Asbury Park Press, which had assigned an excellent writer by the name of Melanie Eversley. And let's see what Melanie E. Eversley wrote. She's the Asbury Park Press Multicultural Affairs writer. Anyway, the caption under the picture says, please bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. I don't ordinarily come in here with a sheaf of papers like this. Whitman to Grant, weigh your words. Whitman to Grant, weigh your words. They had a front-page photo, color photo, talking it over. Surrounded by reporters and cameraman, Governor Whitman and talk show host Bob Grant discuss racism. Now, I think the governor did the right thing. I think that being basically a decent person, that she had a chance to ruminate over what she had done, and she decided that the right thing was to come in and talk to me. Many of you are saying it was the thousands and thousands of letters and faxes and telephone calls that she received that really did it. But in all fairness to the governor, she mentioned several times that she had never received the type of mail, the type of phone calls, the amount that she has in this episode. And here's a sample of the type of letters she has received. This is from Marty Scanlon, who is a New Jersey resident, a New Jersey voter. Dear Governor Whitman, this past weekend, while attending the New Jersey State First Aid Council convention, I defended you with vigor because I truly felt that you were representing me very well. However, your direction has faltered when your statement about Bob Grant was read by him Friday on his program. Frankly, Howard Stern was not the place for you to go to become our governor. His filth does not befit our chief leader. Your statement has too much political correctness and not enough common sense. I admit that Bob Grant does not have much patience when talking to those who do not have the basic principles which made our country what it is today. That is where he is prejudiced, not on black and white issues. Bob is an American bent to help improve our country and not foster those who want to bring it down with liberal values. I voted for you along with those who cast their vote in your direction. We all felt you were an American bent to help improve New Jersey and the USA. For these many years, I've had my own personal philosophy. It reads, I have enough genius, I have enough greed, I have enough ego, I only pray for common sense. Somewhere your genius fell off the track. I only hope that all would use these 18 words as we pursue our endeavors. Sincerely, Marty Scanlon. Speaking of Mr. Stern, I have nothing against him. I suppose you could consider me a fan of his, except I listen to Lionel in the morning on WABC, but I've nothing against Howard. And yet, I've been presented with a tape from his broadcast of a day or two ago in which at least 20 times he uses the N-word. The N-word. And I don't mean nude, I don't mean naked. The N-word. At least 20 times. Am I calling for any measures to be taken against him? Of course not. But I resent the double standard to which I am being subjected. And the reason for the double standard is they think he is a fool, a buffoon. They think the same of Imus. These guys are not taken seriously. I am taken seriously. So I suppose it is really a compliment. What they're saying is, hey, this guy Grant knows what he's talking about. Therefore, he's dangerous. Were I a national broadcaster, I suppose I would be the most dangerous man in America because I have dared to challenge some of these self-appointed icons, some of these people who have decided to place themselves on pedestals and speak down to the rest of us, people who have, although they were never elected to any office whatsoever, have decided that they are judge, jury, and executioner here in America. So take heart, those of you who have been concerned that I would abandon ship. I would not give them the satisfaction to do that, although I must tell you, this is not meant to be braggadocious. I could and live very nicely anyway. And without the agita that is produced day in and day out, just even on good days. Let me say something else. In one of the quotes, and I don't want to take your time and go foraging through it, but if you insist, I'll look for it. On one of the people complaining to the governor about the Bob Grant show, says something's got to be done. Now get a load of this. This is where you come in, ladies and gentlemen. This is where you come in. Of course, you're affected by the whole thing, but this is where you definitely come in. In one of the reports, one of the three newspapers that I read to you, an individual who claims he represents Black America. Here it is. No, this is not it, but this is close to it. The governor told Mr. Grant that as a high-profile commentator, he had a responsibility to restrain both his own remarks and those of his callers. Now, I take exception to that. That is not democracy in action. That is not exercising the First Amendment. Now, there's no doubt that I could easily say, all right, I will couch my words more gently. But would the belief change? Would the philosophy change? Is that what they want? The thought police? Thought police are out there. Make no mistake. There is a streak in America today that is growing and growing, and it is a definite fascist totalitarian streak. The very people who are guilty of it are so arrogant, they think that they are fighters for freedom and democracy. And they are the epitome of the very antithesis of freedom and democracy. All right, so that I'm not going to be held to a higher standard, I think I'll just tell you that this is that I'm a disc. That's it. I'm a disc jockey. That's it. I'm a jock, and I don't have any. What do they do? They used to play music. Remember the days when disc jockeys used, which I never was, but maybe they used to play music. Now they're all talkers, but they still call themselves jockers. A shock jock, that's it, a shock jock. So if you're a shock jock, then everything you said is merely meant to shock people, not to be taken seriously, not to be taken to the ramparts. Howard, Imus, why don't we form a trio? Let's get to our busy telephones, and Mark, hello to you.
Good afternoon, Bob. I found it very interesting that after Governor Whitman couldn't really prove a weak case against you and really refused to exonerate you, she mentioned her daughter, and after male students were admitted to her daughter's campus, her daughter found objectionable the private and passing comments of the male students. So her daughter is going to hold them up to political ridicule by putting on skits. I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah, well, okay, that's very interesting.
Have a good afternoon.
All right, Mark, thank you. Stephen. Bob Grant with you on WABC. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Bob. I wanted to tell you, I am a conservative, and I've listened to your show daily for about 2 or 3 years now. But I really wanted to ask you, when are you gonna wake up and realize that the host of racist, bigoted, hate-mongering callers to whom you speak daily are really no indication as to how you're being viewed in America today? Bob, you need to understand that most people in this world like what you're doing, but resent the racist, bigoted way in which it's being done. Thank you.
All right, that's Stephen, who identified himself as a conservative. And he said he was a conservative, so we'll have to take his word for it. John from Staten Island. Hello, John.
Yeah, Bob, firstly, let me say the appearance of Christy Whitman on your show yesterday was nothing more than the first step of her re-election campaign of 1997. It was a damage control political speech because she underestimated your popularity. But she didn't mind using your show, and as far as I'm concerned, she used you, too, in an attempt to repair that damage when she realized the mistake she made. Do you think she would have contacted you if you weren't a vehicle to serve her purpose? No, she's still a cowering, pandering liberal, and you don't need her. And I'll tell you who talk show hosts do need, Bob. The people they attack and belittle the most. When liberals want to attack conservative callers, they call them racists and bigots. Now, in the last month, when conservatives expressed their feelings on issues, and we were encouraged to do that and start speaking out because we were losing our country, we're told we have so much anger, as though it's not legitimate with what the left isn't allowed to get away with in this country. Whenever a talk show host wants to say, get out of a tight situation, they say, I'm not responsible for what the callers say, taking it out on the loyal listeners and making it sound as though we're the irrational ones. I find many callers more intelligent, informed, and interesting than many talk show hosts. We're on the cutting edge.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, many talk shows. Name a couple.
Well, how about Curtis Sliwa? What was his qualifications? How about Joyless Behar, who was always uninformed?
Well, she's not here anymore, and that's probably why she's not.
Didn't they? What about Lisa Sliwa? What was her qualifications? And that guy, John McCormick, who could just about get a grunt out of him and sat in for Lynn Samuels one night. And you know, Bob, you said one time, you keep saying, why do people take us so seriously?
Well, me. I can't speak about the others. Why do they take me so seriously?
Well, I guess since we don't have to take you seriously anymore, there's no reason to listen to you anymore, Bob. You can call up Frank Lautenberg now and say, well, look, Frank, I really didn't mean what I said.
Why are you so doggone hostile, John?
Yeah,
what is your...
No,
come on, this is me talking to you now.
I'm sick and tired of...
Hey, come on, John.
I'm fed up with talk show hosts putting down callers. You know, when we don't call, you say, where is everybody? When somebody praises Frank or myself or another caller, you say, this is the Bob Grant Show, pal. You're all so jealous and petty. No, I've heard...
Well, John, if we are so revolting to you, why in heaven's name do you listen to us?
Well, it's about time that somebody said what phonies a lot of you really are.
All right, well, why, John, you haven't answered my question. What is it that compels you to listen to us?
Well, today I'm pointing out your hypocrisy. You're the guy who kept saying, hey, if anybody ever told me what to say and how to say it, I'd get up out of this chair and walk out of here.
Well, no, my boss hasn't done that. He's the only one.
Yes,
he's the only one. John, will you listen? I tell you what, you squirt. If you keep this up, I'm going to hang up on you. Damn it!
Yes.
You're just so out of control. For heaven's sake,
I'm not out of control.
You've gone bananas, John.
Bob,
you are a troubled young man, John.
It is, and that's what you can't take.
I can't take what?
You can't tell it when somebody really tells it like it is. You let yourself be used by Christy Whitman again, and you don't want to realize that. And a lot of things that callers have said have been stolen by talk show hosts. Curtis Sliwa has admitted it. Many things that Rush Limbaugh says.
Well, listen, I am not going to allow you to knock any other talk shows. You want to knock me, that's fine.
I'm not knocking anybody.
But these guys have been loyal to me, and even though I might have differences of opinion, even though I may have been shocked by Curtis's performance on yesterday's Roundtable show, not figured out why in the world he did a double split, I am not going to criticize him because he was loyal to me, and I want to return that loyalty. And, John,
Bob,
get hold of yourself.
You should have heard him on NPR radio when he was bashing the hell out of you when he went over there. And the only vigor and...
What do you want to create problems with us? Does that make you feel good?
The only vigor and starch that you seem to have left in you is to bash your loyal listeners. We're the ones that get up at 5 o'clock.
Why do you keep saying... Well, listen, you don't have to. You don't have to, John. By the way, John, what do you do for a living?
There you go again. Thanks for proving my point, Bob. Mm-hmm. Bye.
I think John would love to be declared persona non grata, which I won't do. I think he'd love to be declared persona non grata because he wants to walk around feeling like a martyr. He's out of control. Out of control. I hope he gets a hold of himself, because basically John's not a bad person. Right here at WABC, Bob Busey's back. He was gone yesterday, so we had a nice vacation from newsbreakers. But, hey, it's a Busey newsbreaker, so now you can believe him if you wish, or you can believe me. But having been attacked that way and accused of perfidy, I want to tell you, I don't feel for 1 minute that I caved in. I don't think either one of us caved in. It's so childish to say, she caved in. No, he caved in. No, we both did the right thing. Remember this. She had said, just for the record, that she would not appear on the program again. And she backed off of that. I won't say she caved in. I would say that she changed her mind. And any thinking person, if the facts present themselves, will change their mind. How childish of Charlie and John to take this approach. No, I'm very comfortable with what I did on the program yesterday. I'm very comfortable with the fact that Christy Whitman did come in, and most importantly, I'm feeling comfortable with a guy that I have to live with 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, no matter where I go, no matter what I do. That guy is Bob Grant. So, Charlie, you can call me names, you can hang up on me, you can vilify me. John of Staten Island, you can do the same thing. But when I go home each night and when I wake up each morning, I wake up with myself. And I can look myself in the mirror and know who I am, what I'm doing, and why I do it. Can you guys? You guys who live your lives through a talk show host? You guys who obviously can't really communicate with a person one-on-one but have to do it via the radio? Carol, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi there. Bob, this is Carol. Bob, first of all, on that subject with Christy, I'm glad it worked out for you yesterday, but I've been dying to ask ever since this happened. Am I the person who listened and heard it differently from every other person in America when you talked about those 3 filthy rapists and called them savages and dirt? They consider that racist? Is that the program I heard? I mean, am I hearing right? That's what made those 2 idiots stand up there and try to make you into a nothing in this country?
Yeah, well, no, you heard right. You heard right.
Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to be sure because now I'm going to take the other side. You were talking about the election, and I'm a Jewish woman, and I didn't vote Democrat, nor did I vote for Tacky, because I listen to all of you, and I have great respect for you, but I'm not going to be talked into voting for something I don't believe, and I felt that Tacky was just that. And he's proved it with his treatment of our mayor, Giuliani. I went and looked at that board, and I'm tired of saying I'm going to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. I've done it year in and year out. I'm an educated woman, and I took out that voting list, and I tried to see what these people stood for. And I never got the answers properly from Tacky. I finally ended up saying the hell with every label, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, and God help me, I voted socialist on that one line, because I just no longer could be made to do what they want me to do. I sat here, and then I looked at a list of people that both parties tried to shove down my throat for judges. All I hear on radio talk shows are how the judges are responsible for not condemning the people who come before them and putting them in jail. We are told that the judges are elected by the people. Did you look at the list year in and year out where every party puts the same name down and you vote for him or you don't vote? And try to get information about the judges? I called every chamber in New York to find out about these judges, and after really persevering, I finally got 3 items in the paper, in the mail. 2 were autobiographies, and one was a letter from a little girl about how her dad